Welcome to the Connectable Podcast.
The Connectable Podcast starts in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, do your countdown now.
3, 2, 1.
Boom,
Go.
Here we go.
I was trying to time it up for that when you hit re, I would say 3, 2, 1, and then the voice says recording in progress. I was pretty close.
You were pretty close.
Our listeners couldn't hear that part. But
no, because obviously we didn't get it on time and it wasn't.
And then I didn't do the finger guns.
Oh, you did do it. Yep, too late now. They don't mean anything when you mention it, and then I'm expecting it. It brings me the most joy when I'm not expecting it. Because I'll be honest with you, if we look at the progression of you doing the finger gun thing, at first when you did it, I'm like, why did she do that? That seemed unnecessary. And then it was like, okay, that's kind of funny. And then now I really enjoy it. So, but not
now I don't do it.
Now that basically sums up our podcast relationship. So
I didn't even realize I was doing it that much. Like when you said it, I'm like, oh, I do. Like I remember doing it one time and you almost like jumped back and you're like, what was that? And I'm like, I don't know. I just finger guns.
Yeah.
And then I didn't realize I kept doing it. So
yeah, you do it pretty often. You used to, not anymore. Ever since I said it, I thought it was funny. Then you're like, I'm not going to do this anymore. It definitely reminds me of the Michael Scott, I forgot which episode that was, but he's a pew, pew, pew. That's what it reminds me of. So
if you give me a second, I can tell you what episode it was. Oh, it is when they're doing the comedy show when they're roasting him.
Yes, you're right.
So that episode is
it's the second part of fire. No, it's the fire one. I'm blanking.
No.
Oh, stress relief.
Yes.
Yeah,
part 2.
Is it the end of the first part? Is it a two-parter?
Yeah, because the first part is when when Dwight puts the fire out and then Stanley has a heart attack.
Right.
But then they pinpoint Stanley's stress to work and to Michael. And then that's when Michael said, you guys all need a stress reliever. We need to have a roast. You're going to roast me.
And that's where it stops, right? And then does the next one pick up where they actually roast him? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
I'll tell you what, I still have access to The Office through the Peacock, but it not being on Netflix is a huge, I know it's lazy. It's a first world problem, but it's annoying. You know what I mean? Netflix is just so much easier. Yeah. Yep.
Inconvenient. And Peacock, I like that I have it because it comes with Xfinity, but there's commercials now. So I'm like, what? I gotta watch commercials.
Man, the first time I watched this show on Peacock and that commercial came up, I'm like, wait a minute, this is not how it's supposed to be. What are you doing? And then I realized, oh, this is how it is now. This is my life now with The Office and other shows.
Yeah, well, and that's how it was when we were younger, like in our younger days in the 90s. Can you imagine? Like we had to watch commercials.
Speaking of that, I don't know if you did this, but there was, especially when I was younger, there would be certain movies that I would know ahead of time, right? Like on the TV guide. Remember the TV guide? You had the TV guide, and then you would see, oh, this movie, like a Ninja Turtle movie, was going to be on, Tuesday night, and then my parents would actually, record it on a VHS tape. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty crazy.
Yeah. I think I had the original Annie on VHS, like literally, like recorded from TV, and that's how I would rewatch it.
It's crazy.
The 1980s Annie.
Oh, okay. Very nice.
That one. Yeah. Well, that's the only one, isn't it? Yeah.
Anyway. Maybe.
Well,
that was
recorded.
There's a new one with Jamie Foxx, I think, right? Like
right. Well, no, not that one. The one
prior to that.
Back.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. And I hope this doesn't offend anybody that is listening. I may have offended somebody on the last one when I said, if you didn't understand kindness, you're dumb. But here we go. It's always weird to me, and I think you would understand this because we've talked a lot about the generational thing. One thing that I don't like when people do, and especially at this point, I feel like this joke has been so overused by so many people. And you can ask my brother Jordan. I've said this to him so many times. I don't like it when someone is talking in a conversation and there's kids present, and someone said, yeah, I had to go to a payphone, for example. And they're like, they turn to the kids and they're like, you know what a payphone is? I'm like, oh, do we have to do this again? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they probably don't even know what a payphone is. You know what I mean? Like, I've heard that so much over the last however many years since cell phones and, you know, the technology's developed. It's like, guys, that's one of those jokes you let slide. You don't need to jump on that one, because I feel like we've heard it so much. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the time. So if that offends anybody, I'm sorry, but it's just one of those things that makes me cringe. Like, oh, and I know a few people that have done it, you know, like, you know, during their speeches and stuff like that. Or someone interrupted. I know someone that interrupted someone else's speech at a birthday party to make that joke. I'm like, oh, you're killing me, dude. Why'd you do that? He's like, hey guys, this is what a cell phone is. Or like, oh, you know what I mean? Or this is what a CD is. Like, was this necessary? No, it wasn't. It wasn't necessary. You know what I'm saying? Like, that joke may have been funny a long time ago. It's not really funny anymore, because I feel like, you know,
Getting old now. Well, you
It's
mean
got-
like when you're trying to explain it to the younger generation, you mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not explain, you know, it's not explaining it. You know, if they were saying,
More
hey,
like,
if you didn't know what a DVD was, or a CD was, this is what it is. It's kind of like a nudge. Hey, I bet you guys don't know what a CD is. You know what I mean? It's, you know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
the whole concept of that joke is basically saying like, oh, things have changed so much and you guys have no clue and you guys are kids. Yeah, they get it.
yeah.
They also don't care. I'm gonna be honest. In most of the
Don't
situations,
care.
like, what's a CD? They don't care at all. You don't need to explain it to me. You know what I mean? I hate when
It's
people do
funny.
that.
Oh yeah. Well, even my high school kids, and they're old, they're not, they're older on that generation spectrum of Gen Z, or I think that's what they're called. But even, yeah, they don't care. I can tell you guys right now. They do not.
Right.
They look at you and they're like, okay. and it's one of those things where I'll ask them just to see if they know, because
Sure.
some of their parents are my age.
Sure.
And like, oh yeah, I know what that is. My parent, like, no, for real. And then, or
no.
I'll bring up a band, like a name, or they will actually bring stuff up and I'll be like, you know what that is? Like, I'll just be shocked. And they're like, yeah.
Sure.
So I try also not to do the whole, like that, that joke part, or, whatever. And I don't even do it well anyway. I'm more so am genuinely curious and amazed if they do know what like a cassette tape is, or if
Oh yeah,
they
for sure.
know what the world was like basically before them, which poor things, how are they supposed to know?
Yeah. No, and that's I want to make it very, very clear for anybody who's listening that maybe turn it off because I did offend them. Explaining your, like you said, curiosity. If it's like, oh my gosh, you actually know what this is, don't have a problem with that. Like I said, the people I'm thinking of, I'm not going to mention names. The people I'm thinking of will do that, and you can tell by their kids' reactions. This is not the first time you've said this. It's like, so not only are you making a stupid joke, but they're also, yeah, exactly. It's like, no, Dad, we know what a CD is because you've done this joke 10 times. Like, oh, we get it. Like, that's one of those things where I'm like, hey, we just need to cut that joke out of your routine and find some new material. But anyways, that's my rant for today.
Yeah. Well, you know what? And I know how it's like the opposite, because I know how it feels when my high school kids bring something up and that happened, in their generation, like, I don't know, a song or a style or a band, and they look at me and they're like, you don't know what that is? And I'm like, no, I am like 15 years older than you. Of course I don't know what that is. I am still living in the millennial era. It's still the year 2000 forever in my brain. I have no idea what you're talking about. So they'll make fun of me because I won't know their thing. So it goes both ways, really. And then I appreciate the ones who take the time to like, okay, and then they explain it to me. I'm like, thank you. Making fun of me. I don't know what you guys listen to.
What a kind soul. Yeah.
What a kind soul. I know, right? So
yeah, so we've talked about this before. I think I've mentioned them as my connection suggestion, and you and I have talked about this off air, but Trent and Savannah from the Juice podcast. It's a really cool podcast. If you guys haven't checked it out, it's a kind of a crash course between, not crash course, a collision between like faith and pop culture. It's great podcast, especially if you love pop culture. I told Jordan, my brother, that I listened to it, and he just texts back. He's like, why, man? He's like, do you even get the references? Like, how old are you? I'm like, yeah, I try my best. Even then, like, I know Trent's not that much younger than me, but like, even then I'm like, I feel like I'm so far behind in this podcast. I just enjoy their banter, but some of the stuff that they bring up is like, I don't know who that person is. What reality show are they from? I have no clue. And so, sometimes that stuff does make me feel a little bit old,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So.
Oh, the only reason why I know anything pop culture, anything and that has to do with the younger generation is because I'm a high school teacher.
Yeah.
Otherwise I would have no idea, not a clue. They teach me a lot, actually. They educate me a lot on what's going on out there.
And I feel like as a teacher, there's a fine line, right? There's a fine line between you can't like let them know that you're completely clueless about certain things, but you also you kind of have to learn too. It's like, there's like subtle ways like, oh, that's funny. Tell me your thoughts about that, when really you have no clue what it is at all. But you gotta start, kind of like a mine, like trying to dig for some, diamonds out there, trying to figure out what they're talking about. So yeah, I don't envy you as a teacher, but I've had this before too. I'm sure you have as well. It's always funny too when you have someone that's in a position like yourself, a teacher, anybody who works with younger people, and they start using the slang that's popular amongst younger people. That's always weird to me, because you can tell it's very clear. It doesn't feel organic. It doesn't feel natural. It's like, you just heard this at work yesterday, didn't you? And you wanted to throw it in there to seem a little younger. It's happened a couple of times with people around, and I'm like, ooh,
yeah,
that didn't roll off the tongue very well,
Yeah, I definitely like to play the whole, I have no idea what your slang is. I don't know what's going on. And then I listen to them but I do understand what they're saying, and I'll just like kind of stare at them, and they'll look at me and they'll be like, oh, you guys, she understands what we're saying. So I like to be funny in the know, but I play dumb. I'll be like, I don't know what that means.
That's smart. Yeah. That's a good way of going at it.
Yeah, but that way I kind of know what's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had one, I think I feel like I've mentioned this before on an episode a long time ago, but I've literally had kids come up to me just during class, when, not a ton of stuff is going on, or while they're playing a game, when I'm checking on them. I remember a kid came up to me and literally gave me a 30-second crash course in all of the new slangs. So like, okay, this means this means this, this means this, this means this, like all of the different, I can't even tell you, I don't remember what, woke was one of them, like that. It was a while ago,
Okay. I hope so.
So I did. So they get like, I'll have some really kind-hearted kids who will like on the down low, like tell me what everything is. Cause I'll be like, I don't know. I want to know what you guys are saying. I need to know. So I don't need to know everything. That's the other thing.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make any sense. It's funny. And I know I've mentioned that we haven't really talked about this much, but so I've mentioned this before on the podcast. So I don't drink, never drink. It's just not really my thing. It's one of those things I just never really cared about. But there was a period of time where like it felt weird that I didn't. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's not my thing. But then in conversations with people, it would feel weird to me. And so I would try to like pick up stuff and then try to be in those conversations. I had no clue what I was talking about, but I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds crazy. Or, like, that's interesting. Wonder what, and I would try to like jump in those conversations and pretend like I had some kind of clue about what I was talking about. Now I'm like, here's the thing. I don't drink. I have no clue what you're talking about. Don't know anything about it. It's so, like you said, it's so much easier to do that way. But like, there's a period of time where I'm like, it kind of just felt weird being like in those conversations and not having any knowledge about it. Like, it's like with anything, right? It doesn't have to be just that, but with anything, not having any knowledge about what the topic is, and you're just there. But it's like, I don't know. So now it's just like you said, it's just so much easier. Maybe it's just when you get older, you just don't care anymore. I'm like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I have no clue about anything you're saying. So enlighten me. Tell me about it a little bit.
Yeah, it's sad to say, and I probably shouldn't, say this publicly, but at this point, my friends all know me. But that's like me in politics or economics. Like those
politics is the exact same thing for me.
And I do want, and it's not that I don't want to learn or know about it. And I actually like sitting back and listening to like all the sides and both sides and hearing, whatever. But like, I literally will sit there and have no opinion just because my brain, it takes forever to absorb all that, to understand it, to know what side do I want? Do I even have a side? I don't know. And, just by me admitting that to some people, they'd be like, how can you not have a side? Do you not have beliefs? I'm like, look, I just don't understand it. If I don't understand it, how am I supposed to Because how am I supposed to, know what to do?
Yeah.
So I like listening. I'm always open to listening to people's, viewpoints and beliefs on that. But that's a conversation I will never jump in on. I will just sit back I'll sit on that fence forever and gladly say, I have no idea. You're next. Who wants to
Yeah.
go next? Yeah.
No, I get that for sure. You're better than me. I don't even like to sit on the fence.
Well,
I'm nowhere near the yards.
that's
So
the best part, sitting on the fence.
yeah,
I
no,
want to watch it.
I'm with you. What that was one of the things that you and I talked about when we started podcasting together. One thing I made like super, super clear. That way there was no confusion when I first talked to you about podcasts with me. I said, just so you know, if this is what you are hoping to do, politics talk and stuff like that, it's probably not going to work out because I have no interest.
I said perfect because
there's my co-host. We're good.
Perfect.
So yeah, it's just not my thing. Just too much, in my opinion, too much. I feel like very little good comes from it in those conversations. And like I've said before, people always, say things like, hey, we should be able to have our differences and still be friends at the end of the day. I think this last couple of years have proven that that's difficult for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's a whole nother topic that I think we've talked about before.
Yeah, we've brought it up before.
Probably on Combine, actually. I think we did a whole episode on that type of thing. A little different. We were also talking about coaches and players getting into fights and parents getting into fights on the field, but same thing. It's kind of the same thing.
Same politics.
Same politics. Hey, did you see? Look at my background. I changed it today.
I know. What is that? Yellow, orange. Oh, okay.
Orange. Yeah. What do you think?
I like it. Like the sun is behind you.
Yeah. I kind of like it too. I wasn't sure. I tested. It's weird. I test it when the light's coming through the window. And like, that seems pretty cool. Let me see how it is at night. And then once it's all dark, it's like, oh, I actually like that a lot. I don't know if I like it more than the blue. I'm not sure yet.
Well, the blue matches my wall decor. I thought that's why you did it.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Our colors are orange and blue.
Oh, that's right.
I don't like how you pause so long there. I feel
when you said our colors for a second, I'm like, whose colors? And I'm like, oh, our logo. That's why I paused.
Oh my gosh.
I swear. But yeah, that's orange. It's like a yellow. It's like It's like a little sun is behind you.
Is it amber? Is that right?
No, it's more yellow. Yeah.
What color is amber?
I think, isn't my hair amber?
I thought your hair was just red.
I used to call my hair orange, but it's not orange. I don't know what color. It's red, but
okay.
It's more
is it technically orange?
I don't know. It looks orange. Well, because it's not. It's like red, and there's lots of blonde tones in it too. So some people, it's funny, and I've talked about this on Combine before, I think briefly, but my high school students in the past, they don't do it so much anymore, or it hasn't really been brought up, but they would argue and say that some kids would be like, her hair's blonde. The other half of the class, no, her hair's red. So, and I just say it's orange. It's between blonde and I don't know. It's just, I feel like every redhead has a different tone of red. And so I don't know what color this is. I just say red. Okay. But
that's all right. It's a wide range. I get it.
But the color, that light in your room, that is like literally a sun color.
All right. Sun orange.
It reminds me of it reminds me of the Lion King.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah. I guess like this, huh?
Yeah.
Holding the little lion cub up there.
You have to try another color next week.
Maybe. I don't have that many colors to choose from. I think yellow is going to look about the same as what this says, I would assume. Red. We talked about red. Red has a very sensual vibe to it. I don't like it. I told you, it's either very sensual, like a Valentine's Day episode, or it's like I'm going to get murdered. Like someone's going to come out of this closet and just take me out.
That's where I was going with that thought with the red.
Okay.
Like a horror story.
Maybe I'll try it next time, and we'll let you guys see. But
see what happens.
Oh gosh. Maybe can I just offer some advice? I don't like. I don't.
Your phone. Yes.
I think of us as like peers, not better than you at all, but as like someone who just offers a little advice. Maybe pick a smaller water bottle when you're podcasting, because you brought a tank to the show and you already have enough trouble with holding your mic up as it is. And then you brought that massive water bottle. Look, I think you broke it.
No, I'm just fixing it.
Yeah, okay, that's weird. It keeps going back to the same spot. It keeps going.
No, it's
Right.
hard to like set this down without making a noise.
Or knocking everything over.
Okay, there we go. Okay. That was much better.
Yeah, earlier when we first hopped on, Deb put that down, and it literally sounded like she was working in a steel mill, where it just ding, 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 or someone was shooting at her, you know, and the bullets were just ricocheting off the metal. You know, I don't know. This is what I deal with, people. This is what I deal with. And she's like, "What's the big deal?" Oh, the big deal is when I edit these things, I have to hear it. Let me be honest. I actually don't edit that much, but I do have to listen back for clips, and then I hear ding, 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 ding. You know, this is what I deal with.
Speaking of, so was it last week when we recorded and we had, was it before or after you had to like walk away and go do something? It was before. And so Zoom is recording still.
Yeah.
And you walked away and I'm just chilling on, it's not on our episode because it was before we, started it, but
right.
I don't know what I did because you texted me and told me later, but I guess I yawned. And then Josh said, was there like, did you see your ghost? Cause you're looking around all funny. And I swear my ceiling fan was making I don't even know if it was my ceiling fan, but it was near this area where I'm looking right now. And that's why I kept looking up there and no one's above me. I'm on the top floor. My ceiling was making a weird poltergeist noise. I don't know, some weird, and I kept looking and I'm like, okay. And it was happening before we hit record. So when you walked away and it was quiet and we weren't talking, I heard it again. And so my ghost was here last week.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I'm gonna retell the story how I saw it. So when she, like she said, I had to step away from the mic for a second, leave the room, and I saw her let out what can only be described as a lion-sized roar of a yawn. It was massive. It's like she was holding, like the whole time we were doing our pre-show thing, she was holding this in, and then all of a sudden I left and she's like, oh, like the biggest yawn I've ever seen. Then, like she said, she sits there for a second and she does one of these things where she looks to the side really quick. And then she comes back and then she kind of does something, looks at her phone, and then she does it again. This time with like a scowl, kind of like, ghost, you better leave or we're gonna have a problem. Like she was kind of like, in my opinion, like tough talking the ghost with her eyes. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't just like, oh my gosh, what was that? It was more like,
no, because I heard it already.
Right now, I'm gonna, it was one of those. That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah, because I heard it before and I was like, seriously? And then we hit record and then you walked away and I was like, there it is again. And yeah, so it was one of those.
Maybe we'll post it.
That yawn, it was so nice too. It feels so good to yawn sometimes. It just
no, you seemed very relaxed after that yawn. I mean, the biggest yawn I've ever seen. Even when we've stopped recording and you let the yawn out, nothing compares to the one that you did. It was huge.
I mean, we did just start school again, so I mean that's all I got.
Hey, if you guys haven't figured this out by now, we have no topic.
Wait, this is free flow completely.
Free flow conversation 2.0. This is the second time we've done this because, so I'll be honest with you. So this is I'll give us a little leeway here because we were not expecting to record tonight. It was kind of like a last day or so thing.
Yeah.
Because we'll have the episode that we just released, we're actually going to record after this one, and it's with a guest, but Deb wasn't able to make it to that one, so we wanted to make sure we got kind of a bonus episode in. So if you're listening to this is kind of like a bonus episode. We might just drop a second one this week. So
you're welcome.
So if you're like, oh, perfect, I had no other podcast to listen to, there you go. There you go.
I have one now.
You have one now. So, it's basically just us rambling. If you've heard the first free flow, not free throw, it's not a basketball podcast, free flow conversation. This is basically what it is. We just talk and we just let our personalities shine.
Let it out. You know what I got again this week? That was really good. And I posted it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Tell me about it. This is Labor Day weekend, huh?
Yes.
Tell me about your weekend, including that, because that seems like it was a big part of it.
Oh, my weekend, like all of it? I like.
No, just the highlights. Just the
Oh.
highlights. Like I don't need to hear about every time you heard the ghost and all that stuff. Just the highlights.
Let's see. Well, Friday night I worked a football game, and then I went to bed, and then I woke up. I'm just kidding. I'm not
Oh
going to give you.
gosh.
So basically, I had so much stuff going on. It was so fun. I went out with
Awesome.
my coworkers on Saturday night. We went to Midtown. We hit up some places. We just
Cool.
had fun. Like we don't, and it was and we had
Where'd you go if you don't mind me
oh
asking?
God. Okay,
Let's
so
shout them out.
Zocalo's,
Okay.
Fieldworks, Lowbrow, Gold Fields. Is that what that's called? I think. And Tank House. I think that was it. We just bounced around. We just walked
Nice.
around.
There you go.
It was super fun.
Cool.
And then Sunday, oh gosh, now I'm getting my days mixed up. That was Saturday. Sunday I went to the Foodie Land thing.
Oh, did you go to that?
Yeah, at
A
Cal
lot of people went
Expo.
to that.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and I think it's still going. I don't know. Maybe today was the last day. I can't. It was like a 5-day event or something. It was at the fairgrounds. It was really hot, very hot, and there
Yep.
was a lot of people there, but everyone was cool. Like there was, it wasn't like too crowded. There was no shade. So me and my friends, I went with a couple of girls. We literally, well, Nicole was one of them.
Hey, Nicole.
Nicole, and we were only there for an hour and a half, but we did all the things we wanted to do. We shared some fries from, oh gosh, what's that place? Hot Boys. Have you ever heard of Hot Boys? I've never been there or heard of it. And
Sounds familiar. I feel like we follow them.
they had the best loaded fries.
Ooh.
There was like fried chicken on it. There was some sauce on it. But it was like perfect. It wasn't too greasy. Like it was, that was the best thing ever.
Sounds
so
delicious.
Hot Boys had that. Yeah, there was so much food. It was basically fair food. So we were trying to hit up some places that we didn't recognize. We actually, here was our goal, hit up the shortest lines. So Hot Boys did not have a very long line, but it was really good.
Interesting.
And gosh, we had like some noodles somewhere from, I can't remember the other places actually, but that was a good one.
I saw that Jonna Delinta, one of our previous guests, Miss J Fitness, she was there. And I think Kira McKechnie too, who's a friend of ours from the Combine podcast. They both got the bubble cone.
Yep.
I wanted to try that for a while. Again, here's the problem. Like with Connectable, obviously our goal is to connect with people and also connect with some of these businesses and different places and people around the city of Sacramento. But some of these places I haven't been before. I just like to follow them. That's one of them, bubble cone, and it looks amazing. Stuff they posted looked amazing.
Yeah.
But
it's funny because I replied to Jonna and I was like, oh my God, I was just there the other day, but I didn't get to have the bubble cone. The bubble cone line was really long. So
I bet
that was not an ideal line for us. So we were there for not that long. And then we ended up hanging out at another gal's house. She had people over and had food, and that was just, that was fun. And then later that night I went to just a small friend birthday gathering at Hilltop Tavern off Folsom. And then Monday I went to a friend's house just for like a chill, like Labor Day, just pool party. Like I was just basically with my girlfriends all weekend.
Very cool.
It was really fun. And then I ended my Labor Day weekend Monday night with some crumble. Which is I think where you were starting with this whole thing, right? That's like that's what I had this week. Crumble. We got a big, so Deb and I, we got a big 12 party pack because we took some back to our friend's house that had the pool party and gave some to them, and then we kind of
they actually made them back.
Yeah, barely. They did, and as soon as we dropped their half there, and Deb and I carpooled, we got back in the car, we opened it, and we had already cut them in half inside my friend's house, and she's driving, I'm like, here, try this one.
Just shove it in her face.
As soon as we pull away from the house, we try all of them in the car. And then
makes sense. They're delicious.
Yeah. And so I just had some just now after my dinner before we hit record, actually. They're
there you go.
Good. Yeah, you guys, if you like cookies, you have to try Crumble. And the thing I like about them is they have the online mobile app. So just order them and just you sit out there in your car and they bring it to you. It's the best thing ever. You don't have to go inside. It's awesome.
There we go. I could say a lot about that, but I'm not going to. So I think I feel like those cookies are delicious. And something I failed to mention last time when we talked about this, it's the frosting is amazing. It's so light. It's almost like they put like just a cloud, it's like pick it from the sky and drop a cloud right on top of the cookie. It's amazing. Yeah.
Right. Basically. That was my Labor Day weekend.
Cool.
Very eventful, very fun.
It sounds like it. Yeah. It was the opposite of mine. I didn't do much.
Yeah.
Yeah. My
Did
situation.
you guys at least get to go to a pool or water or sprinklers for your kids or what or something? Because it was hot this weekend. Or did you guys just stay inside?
I stayed inside for the most part. I mean, I think there was one day where the kids kind of, or one of our oldest daughter ran around in the sprinklers and like little kiddie pool, but not much. I mean, it was pretty hot. And so, it didn't do a whole lot, but it was just kind of hanging out, relaxing. I ran twice. That was cool. I ran a couple times. That's super hot. I like running in the heat, but there's also a combination of the place I ran there was a lot of big hills and the heat. My time was incredibly slow. I'm like, you get to the end of the run and you look at the watch. I'm like, that was a lot slower than I thought. Oops, and but it makes sense. It was just so hot out there. So, but again, I enjoyed it. It had been a little while since I was able to get out to more than 5 miles. And so, it felt good. It felt good. Yeah.
So I'm signed up to do a half marathon in October.
Oh, cool. Which one?
Urban Cow.
Oh yeah. My dad's done that quite a few times.
Yeah. I have not ran in like a month. So
okay. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
I've been going back to boxing.
Nice. Very cool.
But that's it. Well, okay. I don't know. Maybe if you count soccer, I play soccer, back to playing indoor soccer, but that is.
You're moving. I'm moving. I'm just not endurance run training for it. So we're just going to see how it goes. And this heat has been, I'm not one to complain about the weather. I love California and I'd rather it be hot than cold, but oh my God, it's been so hot outside. There's like no way. Yeah. I'm getting to that age where I'm like, nope, not doing it. That surprises me. Like, I feel like you would be someone that would run in the heat.
I mean, I don't know.
I'm a little darker than you, so I can withstand that a little bit more. But
I can.
Just like the athlete side of you. Okay, see, I just thought like that, the challenge of that, because wasn't it a couple of years ago you ran like 15 miles in the heat?
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Have you aged that much in like the last couple of years?
I mean, it feels like it.
Okay, let's be honest. I'm not trying to be rude, but was it really the crumble cookies? Is that what's holding you back?
I mean, no, because that's some good carbo loading. I had some crumble cookies before boxing tonight. It was perfect.
Sure.
I had a lot of energy.
Okay.
But no, there's just some days where I'm like, nope, I don't want to do it. I totally can do it. I just don't want to.
I was gonna say, I think you'll be fine for the Urban Cow. I think it's all good. I think it's easier, in my opinion, at least for me, it's easier to go from, doing a lot of stuff like you said, the boxing, the more, high intensity stuff, soccer, and then trying to go out to run versus, being, really active as far as like distance running and then trying to jump in those other things. Like I always feel like I remember, like I can run 10 miles and I go play basketball. Like, whew, man, this is how long we've been playing. It's like, you've been playing 2 minutes. Like, 2 minutes. When's this game going to end? You know what I mean? I feel like for me, at least, going that way is always a lot tougher. So,
for sure. That's how I felt about how when we started soccer back up a few weeks ago, because we didn't play during the whole, for a year and a half, we didn't play. And I've been running and I've been doing other workouts. And then a few weeks ago, bam, our first soccer game, literally what you just described. I'm like exhausted. I feel like I'm going to pass out, and I look up and literally it's been like a minute and a half, 2 minutes into the game. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm still catching up. I think this is going to be the third or fourth week that we've played. Nice. And the last week when we played anyway, it's harder to go into those high intensity workouts from an endurance rather than do the opposite and go from intensity to endurance, I think.
Oh yeah. Yeah, way more. But then the funny thing is, I think for people who do more high intensity stuff, mentally doing the distance stuff, like physically it's not as difficult, I don't think, but mentally they're like, I would have been done with my workout by this at this point. You know what I mean? And I'm still running, and I would have been done with a normal like hit workout, right? 30 minutes ago. But I'm trying to, run an hour. It's like, oh gosh. You know what I mean? It's an interesting thing, like I feel like both sides lose when they cross over to the other side for the first time in a while. At first. I was going to mention, I don't know if you've heard of this place, but I came across this place on Instagram, and I have the name of it. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly. Tulum Jungle Gym. I think it's in Mexico. Have you heard of this place? Super cool. Now, that being said, I am not qualified to go to this gym because of how I look, because I'm not nearly muscular enough or in good enough shape. But it's basically like this outdoor gym on the beach, but they have like all of these wood. It's almost like they look like wooden weights, and it looks like if Tarzan's like, hey, I'm gonna start a 24-hour fitness in my forest. Boom, here you go. Check it out. Just Deb, grab your phone, just type it in to Instagram, TULUM Jungle Gym. It's super cool. But like I said, you look at the men and women that go to this place.
I've heard of it now that you're like talking about it.
Yeah, it just looks cool. You know what I mean? I'm like, that'd be cool to go to a place like that. I couldn't, I would not fit in. They're like, oh, look at that kid. He's sick.
What's funny is I feel like I know friends who have posted actually being at this place.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah, I think, I feel like, so at Title Boxing, one of my instructors, Brett, I feel like she went here and posted.
Oh, that makes sense. So like an instructor at Title Boxing would
right
in. Yeah.
Yeah, that is crazy. Oh my God.
It's just cool.
That's so cool. You just go there and you just work out and lift weights.
But like they're weird weights, right? It's like these big wooden, like I said, if like a wood carver is just like, here you go, here's a set of dumbbells. I think it's pretty cool. Yeah. So like I said, it's going to be a little while, maybe some cycles of steroids before I'm able to go there. I don't know.
Yeah, these people are pretty like jacked, like ripped, that are on this site that just randomly go there.
Yeah, I would feel very self-conscious.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
everyone who's not a bodybuilder might.
Yeah, it's like, we have a bodybuilder coming on the show in a couple weeks. Yeah. So
it's exciting.
Bodybuilder and DJ. It's an interesting combo. Yeah.
I already have questions.
Me too.
What else is new?
I feel like our questions are different. I'll be honest. I feel like anytime like there's a fitness person or a bodybuilder comes on, or anything like that, your questions are a lot smarter. It's like, oh, what did you I'm sure, I mean, like, how did you get to this, metabolic state? Whatever your question is. Mine's like, so like, what was it like putting the tanning lotion on? You know what I mean? Like, that's what our questions are just different. Now, that being said, I asked that question to Jonna when she was talking about her competitions. It's like our minds are completely different places when it comes to that stuff. But that's why
to know the scientific side of it, and like how you get to look like that.
Like, right. Like when you go to sleep at night, does your tan lotion, does it get on the pillow? Like those are my questions. You know what I mean? We look at it differently. Yeah. Huh?
It's okay. I got you. It's a good balance.
I think so.
I'll ask the smart questions.
Yeah. I'll ask the other questions. However you want to categorize those. Dumb, immature, whatever you think those are, that's probably what it is. So, but it should be a fun one.
Yeah.
Hey, you're in my family's fantasy football league again.
Oh, I already forgot about that. Okay. What do I need to do?
I feel like you forgot once I asked you and you like signed into the league. And at that point you're like, cool, I did my job. So every year for whatever, the last couple of years, really, it's a weird thing. I feel like this has really started to happen since we met you. So I don't know what that says. I don't know if it's a weird coincidence. I don't know, but we're always having a tough time finding that 10th person. And I'm
guess who has to step up to the plate and be that person?
Okay.
I have no idea what I'm doing. No idea. Okay. I may or may not have hired someone last season to help me. Remember when I was winning a little bit?
You hired him too late. You should probably talk to them right now to give yourself the best shot.
Don't you worry.
just, none of us were worried. We're like, Deb's in that top 10 or that 10th spot. Perfect. We can actually do our league. So I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna be completely honest. Real honesty time. Shout out to Jordan. That's something we joke about all the time.
Jordan.
I hate. I'm gonna say it. I hate when people on their blogs or their posts say, "Can I be honest?" Like, what does that mean? Are you never Jordan? I'll give Jordan credit for this. Like, does that mean you're not honest normally? Like, why would you say that now? Like, can I be honest with everybody? Please do. Or I'm just gonna scroll past because I don't really care. But it's like, no, just say what you gotta say. You don't have to preface it by like real honesty time. That being said, I'm gonna be very transparent with you, Deb.
Okay.
And we were looking for a 10th person, and we were scrambling looking for the 10th person. And Jordan's like, who kind of runs the league, he said, he's like, hey man, we're not able to find this 10th person. And I said, okay. I said, I can ask Deb if we're desperate.
I was gonna say, you know what that means? Gotta ask Deb.
She's done it before. And he's like, yeah, we should just ask Deb. So you were our last option. I'm sorry, you were the kid that was picked last for kickball.
Or I was like Obi-Wan.
I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, so I'm not sure where this connection is made. So I know Star Wars a little bit, but I'm not sure how this is a connection.
I don't even know if I said that right. Anyway, I'm your only hope. I got you.
Oh, I think you're right. Okay. I get it now. It was too deep for me. I'm not a Star Wars nerd, so I see what you're saying now. I know that where the connection's at, and I told you earlier I'm not that smart, Deb. Why'd you do that?
Well, and like, I don't know, I could have said it wrong too. On the very off chance, I know a little bit more than you sometimes with certain things.
Most of the time.
Did I do it right? Did I sign up? I did. I have my team
You
name.
did. After I had to prompt you, because Jordan did text me and he said, hey man, can you tell Deb to sign in? Because if she doesn't do it like this many hours before the draft, like the league's canceled. I said, yeah, no problem. I'll let her know.
And then even after you asked me, I'm like, where's the email? I'm like looking for it. And I'm like, oh wait, I found it.
Which is amazing because I got your email from you. It's like, which email? You're like, this one. I'm like, perfect. And you sent the email and she's like, where is it? So just so anybody knows, if you decide to invite Deb McCollum to your fantasy football league, just know that not only are you going to have to explain to her like how you do the league, but then you're going to also explain how to use the email, where to find the email, how to sign into the league, when, what sport it is, how, like all that stuff. Just know it's a full-time job. So
it's a concerted effort because unless I'm prompted, I won't do it. So it's it's like a more than full-time job on your side.
Yeah.
To try to babysit me.
Yep. And anybody who's played fantasy sports knows that typically there is one person in the league that doesn't pay attention. That's Deb. And not only does she not pay attention, but when she really doesn't pay attention at all. And she doesn't really watch sports either. So she really is like, when you hear people say like, we just need a warm body, this is it. We just needed a warm body to fill the 10th spot. And the rest of us, we'll just play. And it's like, okay, oh, who are you playing this week? We're playing Deb. Oh, most likely it's like 95% sure you're going to win. There have been chances or times though, where you beat someone. It's like you had two people that were injured you had like 3 blank spots. This is shameful that you lost to Deb, but it happens. It's
I was gonna say, didn't I beat somebody one time?
You did. That person was very unhappy.
I didn't even do anything.
Let's just say someone in my family.
I even knew until someone
in my family is not a big fan of you. I can't remember who it is, but one of my family members is like, yeah, why don't you drop that co-host of yours? She's not that good. It always happens though. It's a weird thing. I'll tell you what though, I have a book about fantasy sports, and it basically just talks about all of these stories of how people, that being said, if we bring it full circle, have you ever thought sometimes on this podcast, we never bring it full circle to like connection?
Nope. It's okay.
Hopefully everybody understands, like, we're just having conversation. Hopefully this connects with somebody. But that being said, fantasy football is kind of a cool thing. Just like with any sports, physical sport, when you're playing fantasy football, like it is a way to connect with people, and people, take it way more seriously than we do. People get together to do their drafts at like restaurants or hotels. It becomes this like huge annual thing that they do with their buddies. There's bets on the line. People bet money. Some people bet tattoos, which is a risky thing to do for fantasy sports. The book that I read, basically the winner of the league got to choose the person who came in last place, the tattoo. Like they have certain areas in the body that they designate. It's like, okay,
Reminds me of The Office.
it's very much like that. Yeah, very much like that. And they're like, these are like the 5 spots you can put a tattoo. And then as far as what it is, like nothing racist, nothing sexist, it could be Bart Simpson, it could be Michael Scott, whatever you want. It could be like, hey, I suck at fantasy football, all that crazy. I think the guy ended up being like a Justin Bieber's, face tattoo, something like that. So, but it is a cool thing. Like it does, as silly as it is sometimes, it is a cool thing to like help people get connected. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like there's people that have probably done it for years
Yeah.
and have had the same group of people that they've done this with forever. And it's just a good way to stay connected, even if people move away or people, kind of go into different directions on life. If you have that one thing that kind of keeps you connected, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So do you and your family and whoever else is in the group, for this league, do you guys get together and watch? Obviously I'm far removed from participating. My team is just there, but so I don't know. Do you guys get together and watch? Do you guys have like, what is your kind of tradition? Do you guys place bets, or do you guys do a cook-off or something? And if you do, why am I not invited anytime there's food? That's kind of rude. But do you guys do something?
We talk. Yeah, no, you are. It is rude, but it was very intentional because we don't trust you. We talked about this last time. We don't want you stealing our stuff, like
what?
Books, food, whatever it might be. It's like,
I'll just steal the food. It's fine. That's all I steal.
Okay, yeah, you say that, but it's like, hey, we made ribs and brisket, and then we see you in the pantry stealing like pieces of chicken and cookies. Like, this isn't crumble. Like, yeah, no, it's regular cookies that we didn't serve. Why are you in the pantry? You know what I mean? We just don't trust you, Deb. I'm sorry. I hate to make this like a very blunt podcast, but we just don't trust you.
You know what? What happened to the whole my home is your home? Help yourself. That's usually.
Yeah, but there's some people that's like, they help themselves too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I think your wife, my friend, will say that to me. So I'll just listen to her if she lets me raid your pantry.
You think she's still your friend, but you would be surprised the stuff I tell her about you. And she doesn't really listen to the podcast either. So I just tell her, kind of like I give her a summary of what we talk about. When she listens to the podcast, that's it. Friendship done. She's like, oh, that's who Deb really is, And she probably has a list of stuff. She's like, I've been missing these items from our home. Like, did we lose it in the move? Where is this stuff? Now she has a, suspect number 1 might be at Deb's house.
It's okay. I'll just give it back to her.
All right. Hear that, Rachel? She did steal some stuff. It's confirmed.
Just like how I've given Christine back these Twilight books that my podcast stand is on.
Did you really give them back?
No, they're right here. I'm using it.
I'm like, what? Like,
my point exactly. You won't get your stuff back unless you ask for it back.
And that's why she can't trust you. So yes. So that's why you don't get invited to the house anymore.
That's why I steal food. No one wants the food back. That's okay.
Yeah. Well, that's why. So we used to, like, there would be times where we would record our other podcast at my house, right? Like you would drive over here, we would record the house. And like, it was like we would be like in a back room, right? Recording at that time. Like, that's my daughter's room now, but at that time it was just basically a guest room that had nothing in it. Do you think that was by accident? No, absolutely not. We did that on purpose, Deb. We didn't want you to steal stuff. It was like, Rachel's like, send her to the back room where there's nothing to steal.
I feel like I still like left your house with a snack almost every time.
Yeah, there was one time I offered, like, we had just bought some candy, or we had leftover candy from Halloween.
Oh yeah.
I said, you want some candy? He's like, yes, please. Like, oh my gosh.
There were a few times you had like cookies or something, or chocolate or something.
That sounds right.
You're like, okay, I'll take some.
Yeah, it's true. There was, in all seriousness, there was one time, I think you came over. I was heading out, but you came over to hang out with my wife and sister. And so like, I kind of just saw you in passing. It was kind of the start of our podcasting, but Rachel's like, I told Rachel as I'm leaving, I said, I'm just gonna say hi. I'm not gonna talk about podcast stuff. Don't worry. And she's like, okay, yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. And then sure enough, just in passing, I'm like, hey, it's good to see you. Are we still podcasting? Oh, I had an idea about the podcast. What do you think about this? Like, she's like, get out of here. You said no podcast talk. Get out of the house. I can't help it. So yeah.
And it's girl time when I hang out.
But she just knew. She's like, he's not gonna be able to not say anything about the podcast.
Can't help himself.
I can't help myself. It would be worse now. That's probably the real reason you can't come over anymore. She doesn't want to hear about
probably
the stupid podcast all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why you just text me ideas now.
Yeah.
And then I reply with, okay.
Usually. Yeah. Usually. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, did you see it was I had posted a clip of you talking about Crystal on one of our last podcasts, and I posted that little clip where just basically you're talking about how you've been doing her podcast so much, and I was jealous. And she thought that was fun.
She thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, she thought it was fun. So I'm glad. I wasn't sure because I don't know her like you know her. So I'm like, hopefully she gets this is just like a silly, a fun thing.
She was very entertained by that.
Perfect. Well, that's what we do here, everybody. We try to entertain. So
like, haha, he's jealous of Deb being on my podcast.
And he should be, because I'm better. Like, all right. I get it.
It's girl time when I jump on her show.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Girl chat. I've listened to a few.
Oh yeah. Oh, you did? Okay.
I told you that. Yeah, I told you that.
Yeah.
I gave you a real compliment off air. I'm like, you did a great job. Yeah.
It's like,
but not here. It's like, you could have done better. It's all a facade on the show.
Yeah. Yeah, it's girlfriend chat. It's a good time.
Yeah, it's cool.
Good. If you like it, then that's good.
Yeah. Now that being said, I have not listened since, because like I said, and I told her this too, when she reached out about the thing we posted. I said, hey, you guys are doing an awesome job with that. I said, I know I'm not the target audience, but I've listened to a couple. They're really good. So grilled chat's not really for me. So
don't blame you.
Yeah. Not that it's bad. It's just not, I haven't had to break up with a guy before. So,
Can't relate. It's okay.
Can't relate. So, how long have we been recording? Not as late as I thought.
Let me guess. Hang on. Because I was really close one time when I guessed what someone told me when they listened.
Okay.
Yeah. Someone was like, oh my God, you were like 5 seconds off or 10 seconds off or something. And I wasn't paying attention when we hit record. I want to say it's been 57 minutes, 32 seconds. I'm just guessing.
Whoever let you know last time, let her know again, because I have no clue.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're listening, let her know. So, hey, I was going to ask you, because you had mentioned we were trying to think of stuff to talk about tonight, and we came up with nothing. That's why we've been rambling on and on about nothing. But you had mentioned TV shows. So what do you, because I have a couple of TV. So I'm going to preface this by saying this. I'm not a huge TV watcher. Like I like certain TV shows, but I can't say that I'm like, my deck is not just like stacked full of, TV shows that I'm constantly watching. So if I really get into a show, that means I really like the show. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It means it's one that I really enjoy, because I don't just like, I've said this before, and I feel like this is one of like the gap between our interests may not be bigger than this one. I don't like reality TV shows. I don't like them at all. I know you're a big fan. I never got it. My gosh, Deb.
I just hit the microphone again.
How is it? You're an athlete. You're a PE teacher. Your job is to teach kids how to be more coordinated. Yet you keep slapping this mic. Like
flexiness and coordination are different. See, when it's like, if I am not focused and playing a sport or boxing, then I could break anything at any moment. I can't tell you how many wine glasses I've broken. Just like by just a quick, like just moving, talking with my hands, stuff like that.
Sure.
Luckily, the last 2 that I've broken here in this apartment have fallen in the sink and broken, so it worked out well.
And the one didn't break because
the one that fell from 3 stories.
Your buddy Ghost.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was at my other apartment.
It's just
crazy.
They sat it down. Yeah.
It's crazy.
But yeah. So but no, so you're a fan of reality TV shows, right?
Yeah, well, like I don't watch them anymore, but I used to watch The Bachelorette way a long time ago. I used to watch Jersey Shore. I'm trying to
The
think of it.
Kardashians, though.
Oh yeah, duh, the Kardashians. I almost forgot about that. I have to finish the last season still. Kardashians. Um, I can't think of any others, but those Kardashians is probably my most recent reality show. I haven't even watched The Bachelor or Bachelorette in a long time, but one show that I am watching right now that I'm rewatching is One Tree Hill on Hulu.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Because
That was on when we were in high school.
yeah, so that
Right.
came out in 2003, and I
Mhm.
think it lasted 9 seasons. But
Really?
yeah,
I didn't
but
realize it was that many seasons.
yeah, it was really good.
Okay.
Characters in that show, like right when it came out, were supposed to portray the same age as like us in high school.
Sure.
Like I think it came out, I must have been a sophomore in high school, and they were supposed to be, sophomores or juniors or whatever, when really they're like, 25 years old, portraying 16-year-olds, and that's just how it goes.
That's one of my favorite things. Sorry, I'm gonna cut you off. That's one of my favorite things now. Now that I know that, now that I'm older, and I love movies, which is weird that it doesn't really translate as much to TV shows, but I do love movies. And so once I realized that thing that you're talking about, where people that are high schoolers are probably going to play or be portrayed by actors or actresses that are older, now it's the thing that I love doing. So if I see a movie that is supposed to have like high schoolers or college kids, I look on IMDb to see how old they really are. And it's amazing. Like you said, some people, it's like, oh, this person is 32 and they have 2 kids.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. But they're, like you said, they're playing a junior in high school.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
crazy. So
Yeah.
I enjoy that so much. But sorry, go
Yeah.
ahead.
No,
Go
it's
ahead.
well, and it's not. And then I'm watching, and I'm like, oh my god, why are these girls are gorgeous? Like, obviously TV stars, like they have makeup on, but like, yeah, because they're 25 years old and they're like developed and they're just older looking. So anyway,
It's a little different. Yeah.
yeah. But I'm rewatching that. Someone got me hooked on it again. Someone was telling me about it and reminded me. And I watched all 9 seasons in the past.
Mhm.
But okay, so not only that, but the three female stars in One Tree Hill,
Mhm.
Sophia Bush, Hillary Burton, and Bethany Joy Lenz, they have a podcast called Drama Queens.
Oh.
And they release an episode every week, and they're literally watching one episode at a time and breaking it down and talking about each episode. But not only that, but just like what they personally went through while filming it, things that were going on in their personal lives. And it's really interesting. It's very entertaining. It's become something that I listen to on my drive to work, on my way back when I don't feel like listening to music, because I'm watching the shows too. I'm ahead of them on their schedule because they only watch one a week and I watch like 2 a night. So I'm way ahead of them.
Sure.
But it is really good just because, and it takes me back because, it reminds me of when I was in high school and how I would how I broke down the episodes of what I thought they meant.
Yeah.
It's really crazy. This show actually hits on a lot of issues even way back when. Within the first season, there was an episode about date rape. There was an episode about steroids. There was an episode about drug abuse. And then in season 2, then they started talking, bring LGBT into play, and how, someone, this girl is gay, but she's getting made fun of. And then she's like, no, I'm not gay. And then she finally does come out, and to where it's like, even back then, and, maybe it wasn't as acceptable as it was, or like, I don't know. It's different everywhere still. Right. But, anyway, there's just so many issues. I'm like, oh my God, this was actually like I didn't see it that way when I was in high school watching it. I just saw a bunch of drama happening on TV, and I'm like, oh my God, this show's so good. But now as a, adult and if I were to have kids, I'd be like, I would want them to watch this. Like it breaks everything down and shows kind of like the pros and cons of the different things high school kids probably still go through. It's crazy. Anyway.
Yeah, well, I was going to say that makes a lot of sense. And I feel like your role as a teacher now would make it hit in a different way too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And, of course, no one dresses like that anymore with, how those kids were dressing. And it
Sure.
was really, that's the fun part, is looking back and seeing the the flare jeans with the flip flops, and
Yeah.
seeing like, seriously, like the bright colors and the bright eyeshadow and the straight hair. It's just, and the thin eyebrows, like all the different fashion trends back then. It's really interesting to see. Anyway, it's been obviously really fun for me to watch. It's my guilty pleasure right now.
Yeah.
And that's what I look forward to at the end of the day. Sometimes I'm like, I just want to watch One Tree Hill. And so that's been my go-to show. And I think I'm almost done with season 2, and there's 9 seasons. So I still have a lot.
Oh, you have a ways to go.
Yeah. So I'm just rewatching right now. I'm not really hitting anything new.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, I have a couple. I'm a huge fan of, and this just started this past Sunday, so Labor Day weekend, Billions. It's on Showtime.
Oh,
It's a really good show, and it's an interesting show because it's about like these high powered financial I'm not even gonna do it justice. Like there are these people that live in the financial world, right? And all the different things that they do, and like the corruption behind that, and the things that they do to be competitive and stay ahead of their opponents, and just all these different things. It's probably not just go look it up on IMDb, look at a trailer. It's going to do a better job, because like I said, I'm not smart enough to understand the financial side of it, but I love the interactions and the characters and the writing. I think it's just really good. And so I love that show. It just came back. And so that one I'm a huge fan of. Love that one. And the other one that I've been watching, and I know I've mentioned it on here before, Ted Lasso. It's on Apple TV. And we what did we buy? I bought this computer, and it came with a year subscription to Apple TV. It's like, oh, cool. So, and I've talked about this before, but so 2 people, my brother Jordan, and then one of our previous guests, Sho Baraka, who's my favorite hip hop artist. He tweeted about this a while ago. He's a big soccer fan. Jordan's not a soccer fan, but he said Ted Lasso is pretty good. And so I heard those 2 say it. I'm like, dang, I'm not a big soccer fan either, but I guess I'm gonna check out this soccer show. It's amazing. It's hilarious. Like, and you don't have to be a soccer fan to enjoy it. It really is just the characters. The writing is really good, like super tight writing. Like I've said this before, but it's done by the creator of Scrubs. So if you, I love Scrubs. It's one of my favorite shows ever. So you have some, like, it kind of brings back that feel a little bit, but it's around the soccer team and this American football coach who, is hired in England by a soccer team. And so just, his overall positivity, like, it's just one of those shows that you really, people say it, like, you just kind of smile the whole time, because it's just it just makes you feel good. It's a really good show, and it's super funny. And I feel like it's one of those shows you can, like, my wife and I have rewatched it a couple times. It's 1.5 seasons right now, but I feel like you just catch so many little things that you didn't hear or see the first time through, and so you just pick up something new every time. And it's a really good show. It's a lot of fun. So that's a big one. And I think the other one is Yellowstone.
Oh yeah, I've heard so many good things about that show. I still haven't yet to watch it, but
it's a really good one. Yeah, they just announced season 4 coming in
November. Yeah, I like that, because then by the time I get to it, I can binge watch it and I don't have to wait.
Well, that's how I was too, because my youngest brother Justin suggested it, and they all know, like, people in my family know, they can suggest a show to me. There's a very small chance that I'm actually going to watch it, not because I think it's bad, or not because I think their opinion on it is bad. I just don't.
Yeah,
I just don't jump into a lot of TV shows, and so that one, was a great recommendation by him, because I started watching that and just I flew through it, because it's just cool. It's amazing. It's on the Peacock. So on the Peacock. Yeah. So that one's really good. I enjoy that one. And yeah, it's pretty intense one.
We just did a bunch of TV show connection suggestions.
Yeah. So go check them out. Check them out. Yeah.
If you're looking for a new show.
Yeah. But I know we'll try to wrap this thing up pretty soon, but I know that, again, trying to bring it full circle to this whole, Connectable podcast and being, making connections. again, TV shows very similar to fantasy football or anything like that, any common interest. Like it does really bring people together, and especially now because of all the technology and social media. So you have people that will get together to watch it, and then you'll be able to connect with other people that, on Twitter or Facebook, Instagram, that are also talking about the show. And so you have this small group of people that also has a common connection, right? And then you can read an article about it. You can listen to a podcast about it, like you do with One Tree Hill, all these different things. And so there's like all these different connections, but it does feel like when you have a show or something that you love and you're able to connect with people that love that same thing, it is a really cool thing, because you don't have to be close friends to connect on it. You don't have to be in the same room. You don't have to be in the same city or state. You can be from like all over the country, maybe all over the world. And you have this one thing that you guys kind of all circle around and connect on. And that's a pretty cool thing. You know what I mean? And I think
so too.
Whatever it may be, TV shows, fantasy football, sports. I mean, look at sports. I was at a Giants game the other day, and you have people in, Giants jerseys. They're playing the Dodgers. You have people in Dodgers jerseys, and everybody's there. They're rooting for their team. There's like all this excitement, and then people are booing at the same time, cheering at the same time, and it's just it's a cool thing. You know what I mean? Like it's a cool thing for me. And that's why we started this podcast. Is like these little simple things. Maybe it's this conversation, or maybe it's something that we talk about, or a person that we have on the show.
Yeah,
it's such a small thing, but like it does help people get connected. Like when you find that common interest. And like I said, now more than ever, people are able to connect with people from all over the place. Like I'm a part of a couple of Facebook groups for some different things, and it's like, oh, there's so many people out here that are podcasting, and they're asking for advice or trying to figure out how to do their thing better. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Technology has come a long way.
Yeah, a long way since CDs and payphones,
dial up internet, even
full circle. Yeah.
Chat rooms, which is like the creepiest thing ever now that we think about it.
Yep.
ASL.
I never participated. I never had a MySpace.
Oh, you didn't?
Mm-mm.
See, I had one in high school.
Yeah.
But after all my friends did, I was like the last one to get one. And I was like, what is this? And they're like, you don't have MySpace? I'm like, what the heck is MySpace? Yeah. No, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the beginning of social media.
Yeah. Yep. No, I never had
start of it.
Yep. Yeah. No, I never had it. I just wasn't of interest to me. And I think I got Facebook when I was in college.
Yeah, I did that when I started Facebook when I was in college too. It's so funny explaining to my kids. I'm like, you guys, I didn't check my social media until I got home after school, after my softball practice. Then you had to log onto a computer because they're like they're in my class, when we're not doing anything towards it, they're scrolling on their phone. I'm like, man, and I tell them stories and they're like, this is like circling back around to your beginning, how
you are that person.
Well, I won't say it all the time. Every once in a while, I would just do it just to get the reaction, because then they roll their eyes and they're like, oh, Mr. McCollum, we know you did not have an iPhone. They've heard the story before. They just get so annoyed. They don't care. I like annoying them. It's the best. That's the best part about being a high school teacher. I get to annoy these kids.
There you go. And they're not great at hiding it either. So you'll know.
Yeah, they'll tell me. It's fun. It's so funny.
How many eye rolls do you get a day?
Oh man.
Just
well,
ballpark.
I teach PE, and if they don't get their way, which their way is sit and do nothing, then I get at least 40 eye rolls per class.
It's pretty per class.
Yeah. Or throwing the head back and going, or the lip smacking. Man, like something. I get something every day. And I just go, that's right.
Yeah, I bet.
That's what we're doing today. I just smile. I laugh. I just do this evil laugh, and I just, yeah.
Do you have a whistle?
I do have a whistle.
Do you have a megaphone?
No, I wish I had a megaphone. That'd be awesome.
I have a couple at work.
I would love one. That would be so fun.
I'll let you visit my workplace, and I know you'll steal it.
Exactly. I probably will.
I'm not doing it.
That would be a really way to annoy. No, my kids will probably steal it from me and wouldn't want to use it.
Yeah, you don't want that. I think it's incredibly annoying.
They bug me for it. They be like, can I have it? Nope, you cannot. It's mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
I have a bunch of stories about that stupid making fun, but yeah, you do not want it, or you don't want your kids to have it for sure. I was gonna say, oh, I remember when I was in middle school PE, and I want to know if you don't have to give details if you don't feel comfortable, but there was one day where I had the same PE teacher for both 7th and 8th grade, and really cool dude. He was a younger teacher, so I think he was able to relate to the kids really well. And I only saw him get mad one time, and he lost his mind. Like lost his mind. We were sitting on the blacktop, and we were sitting on like the little dots, right, that they have out there. And he was in the middle of talking about what we were going to do. We were supposed to play like soccer, or we were supposed to play basketball, something like that. And all of a sudden he's like, "Who did that?" I'm like, what was that? And he just like had this like deep voice, like his face turned bright red. Well, apparently someone hit him with a rock in the leg. Yeah. And he just lost his mind. And he went from PE teacher to like football coach. He was a soccer coach, but he went like football coach was like, "Everybody run." Like,
oh no.
and so we just started running around, and he's like, how like 4 laps. Like, okay. We all just ran.
Oh my gosh, because he got hit in the leg with a rock.
Yeah. And I don't know. That's
having a good day.
I don't think so. And then, it's one of those things that I don't know if you've ever done this, but a bunch of us get back with the people that, probably put out a little bit more effort in PE, obviously got to their dots faster. And so we're there. And he's like, just so you guys know, I know who did it. I'm gonna talk to them after class. I'm sorry that happened. It wasn't aimed at you guys. So he was cool. He was cool enough to do that. But like in the moment, he's like, and then that person, there was some, disciplinary stuff after class. That person definitely got written up. But at the moment, he's like, everybody suffers.
Everybody suffers. Hey, that's middle school for you. That's why I teach high school.
Yeah. I get it.
Throwing rocks at you.
Yeah. Well, in high school.
At least high school kids, some of them will at least stand up for you if they like you as a teacher and be like, "Hey, don't do that." Like they'll they don't.
Or they have like the actual intent to hurt you. Is like, I'm gonna really throw this rock.
Yeah, I know. I haven't had that happen to me yet. So
yeah, but no, it was just the weirdest thing because like he went from 0 to 100 very quickly. Like everybody's like, "What happened?" I've had that happened a couple of times in college too, where
really?
a professor. Have you never had this? Where a professor just lost their mind?
I'm trying to think. I'm sure I have. I just can't think of a specific mine right now.
I was at Sac State. There was a what was it? Communication in sports. It's supposed to be a fun class. This day was not. And people were just being disrespectful. And at a certain point, she's like, "Everybody get the F out of my classroom." Like she was crying. Like, oh my gosh, we broke her. Not me. I didn't do anything. I sat back there and I'm just like watching all this unfold.
That's never happened. I've never.
Oh yeah. And I feel like there was one other instance, but I can't remember what it was. But yeah, she's like, "Get the F out of my classroom." And she was like crying, like not just like a teardrop. It was like, and just people like were gonna go up to ask her questions about the assignment. She's like, "Not today."
Never mind.
Yeah.
We'll do this later.
Yeah, it's like everybody just get out of the classroom. No more questions. No more questions. Yeah, it's happened a couple of times. So you've never had that?
My God, I've never. No, I went to a junior college that 2 of my friends got kicked out of because they kept talking, and they were being rude. And I was actually like, I was sitting near them, and so she tried to kick me out too, and I didn't. I stayed there. I was like, "I'm not leaving. I'm paying for this," and she let me stay. She's like, "Okay, fine." And then
my plot twist, you were the one that was doing all the talking. You just got the 2 kicked out.
It was me.
It was me.
That was the only time that's ever happened. And I've been to 4 different colleges.
It's pretty good.
I think the common denominator, Josh, might be you.
Yeah, maybe. Probably not.
That's crazy though. That's really sad.
It's pretty sad. Yeah. It's pretty sad. Well, especially, I mean, you're a college professor, you get to that point where, I mean, you're breaking down crying. And again, hindsight, maybe she was dealing with some stuff that like the people talking, being disrespectful. That was the final straw. And she just had enough, whatever it was. But yeah, I'll never forget that because like I said, this was a communications and sports class. This should be a super fun class. And it was for the most part, just not that day.
Not that day. How was it after that? Was she like, how was it with her? Like nothing happened or?
So that's what they always do. Like nothing happens.
They're like, it's okay, I'm fine. I had a moment.
Yeah. I don't even address it. It's like, all right, here we go. Yeah, no, it's like literally nothing happened.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how they do it. Like I said, I feel like there was one other time where a professor lost it, and you know,
Wow.
it's tough to watch. It's
Oh
tough
yeah.
to watch. Well, especially, and this is, like I was just not someone that would, like I didn't really like, I don't like to speak up in class. I'm just kind of back there, like, let me just get through this, and then we'll each go our separate ways, and we'll be cool. So like typically it's just me just watching all this unfold, and like, this is uncomfortable, you know. Now I have a podcast, so I have a perfect platform to share these stories. But yeah, no, that was brutal. That was brutal.
Ay.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
That's not much to say.
I just feel, because I'm a teacher, so I'm like, oh man, I feel so bad now. I'm like sad for them. I'm like, that sucks.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. But
make or break. Like that's like a lot of teachers quit because of that stuff like that. So that sucks.
yeah. Well, luckily for her, it was just it was just a bad day, because like I said, she came back that,
She's like, I'm fine.
yeah, I'm fine. And she's like, it was like 20 minutes into class.
Oh jeez.
An hour and a half, long course. And she's like, nope, not today. I'm not putting up with this.
Nope,
So who knows what the next class had to deal with? I don't know.
God. Class is canceled for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I just quit my job. Like, oh my gosh, we broke her. That would have been the worst thing, is coming into class the next day and realizing that she's just not coming back.
Like,
Oh, yeah. So anyways, that's enough of us ranting. I think we've done enough.
We rant a lot. We do.
Yeah.
We could talk a lot. It just past my bedtime.
Yes, it is.
That is how I always say that. Josh is past my bedtime. I need to go to bed.
All the time,
All the time.
every week. It could be like 7 o'clock. Like, yeah, it's kind of past my bedtime. It's like, oh my gosh, here we go.
Late.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you doing this podcast as always. This everybody, just this is what's gonna probably break her. What if you're the professor in this situation? It's like, shut up, Josh. Just shut up.
I'm done.
I'm done. I just want to go to bed. I'm like, all right.
Get the F out of my classroom.
Yeah. Get the F out of my Zoom. Like, okay. Like, you sent me the link. Well, I'm sorry. So that's how it's going to end. That's how it's going to end.
I just exit the Zoom.
Yeah.
You don't even finish recording.
Right. How do you think this podcast friendship is going to end? Do you think it's going to end just like cordially, where it's like, hey, I think we're just done podcasting? Do you think it's going to be like, we can't stand each other? It's like, oh, I can't wait to end this thing. Or are you just going to disappear?
Stay tuned. We don't know.
Like,
one of the three.
I would put all my bets on you just not showing up.
Let's do a poll.
Like week after week after week.
Everyone can vote.
Yeah, let us know. How do you think this thing's going to end? It's like the season finale. Like, how's the show going to end?
Yeah,
we don't know.
What kind of breakup is it going to be? We'll still be friends after the I hate you, I never want to see you again, or the classic, I just don't hear from you ever again, the ghosting. Let's see.
Yeah. It'd be super funny if it was like just like this ugly split, and then it's like, you're still friends with my wife and sister.
Just out of spite.
It's like I was watching Talladega Nights the other day. Oh, yeah. And it's just like that scene when he's calling, when Cal's calling Ricky Bobby. He's like having this conversation. He's like, wait a minute, I'm still mad at you.
I'm not
like,
talking to you.
We're not friends anymore. That's what it's gonna be like. It's like, exactly. Hey, I had this podcast idea. It's like, wait a minute, I'm mad at you. We're done. That's how it's gonna end.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's do our connection suggestion and let's get out of here.
Note.
Yep.
Yeah.
So let's, instead of breaking up, let's connect. So with other people. So as you guys all know, the connection suggestion is a place, a person, organization, brand, whatever it may be that we feel that you guys should be aware of. Deb, you want to go with yours first?
Yeah. So I actually know this gal. So her name is Stephanie, and I know her through my brother-in-law's sister. They're really good friends. Okay. Anyway, she has a business called Petal Organics, PETL Organics, and she's on Instagram, Petal_Organics, and it's basically it's like natural food dye on clothes.
Okay.
So I had never heard of it before. And I actually saw her when I was visiting some family a few months ago, and she was there and she was telling me about it because she actually made some clothes for my 14-month-old nephew. And so I don't know
See a lot
how
of
she
baby
does
clothes
it.
here.
What?
No, I'm just looking at the page right now. I do see a lot of baby clothes. That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, it's baby clothes. Yeah, and there's like pillowcases and stuff. She basically takes like flowers, and I don't know how she does it, and like herbs and stuff, and that is the dye that it's on the clothes. So it's not I don't know, however however else you get color on clothes. It's just natural, organic. It's like I mean, it's super cool, and the designs that she comes up with, and she always, I think most of them she tells the like on her Instagram, she says how she does it, or I'm not sure, but she just made my nephew something a little bit ago. My sister sent me a text or a pic, or they posted it or something. But
Awesome.
yeah, it's really cool. So Petal Organics.
Very
And
cool.
she's a natural dye artist. That's what it says. So pretty cool.
Cool. Well,
Yeah.
we just followed Petal Organics, and we followed you as well, Stephanie. So if you're listening, there you go. One new follower. So yeah, cool. That's awesome. So mine it's actually a podcast. It's called The Genius of. It's by Erwin McManus, who's my favorite author for sure, and just an incredibly creative individual, just an incredible speaker and communicator. And he has a couple different podcasts. Battle Ready is one, which I love as well. But this specific one, The Genius of, he just started doing a little while ago. And basically, he's just interviewing people and tapping into their genius, whether they're, creatives, entrepreneurs, leaders, whatever they may be. He's had some really huge guests on so far. Ed Milet. I don't know if you're familiar with Ed Milet, huge in the business world. Angela Davis, she's huge in the fitness world down in LA. And it's the daughter of Jerry Manuel, who's out here in Sacramento, which is really awesome. She does some amazing things. I think John Gordon, who's a huge motivational speaker and leader, all these different people he's had on his podcast so far. And like I said, the whole idea is trying to like extract some of the genius from them, like having these conversations, trying to pick their brain and understand like how do these people's minds work? Like how are they as successful or as creative as they are? Like what makes them that way? And it's amazing podcast. I've really enjoyed it. And it's also leading up to a book that's called The Genius of. So I would definitely recommend that. So if you I would definitely recommend following Erwin McManus, but also The Genius of podcast. It's really good. So that's what I've got. Yep. Cool. Yeah. All right, Deb, where can they follow us?
I hate when you ask me to do it.
I do it because last time you got me before I get you. And so here you go.
I did. You guys can follow us on Instagram at Connectable Podcast, Twitter at Connectable Pod, and YouTube.
Did you say at Connectable? Wait, what did you say?
Connectable Pod. Isn't that on Twitter?
Did you say Twitter? I thought I heard something completely different.
Oh. Come on, you're messing me up. I did it so perfectly.
That's my fault. I'll take that. I was
you like, I totally was like, oh crap, I said it wrong again. I said it right. Twitter at Connectable Pod.
Which you don't really do anything with.
I'm not on Twitter. I don't do Twitter.
Yeah.
I'm on the Instagram.
Next time you log on to Twitter, you're probably gonna see me tag you in so many things.
I don't think yeah, okay. I'll have to download it again.
No, don't bother, Deb.
But that's where you can find us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
There we are.
Yeah. And you say YouTube as well?
I said YouTube and Facebook.
See, I wasn't paying attention. I was just sitting here waiting for you to mess it up.
And I did. He was like, I don't think he even listened to any of the.
No, 100%. I did not
automatically
listen.
thought I was going to mess it up.
Yep.
There you go. I'm not repeating it.
I'm not going to apologize. That's exactly what I was doing. So I was wrong. I apologize, but yeah,
let's get that on the highlight reel.
I apologize for downing you. I don't apologize for not listening.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, cool.
Follow us.
Give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. We would definitely appreciate that. And subscribe on YouTube. We're up to 15 subscribers on YouTube.
Sweet.
Pretty cool.
Hey.
Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah. And I think we have like 15 reviews on Apple Podcasts.
Hey,
I was hoping to get to 20 before August ended, and here we are in September. And so help us out, people. Leave a review, leave a rating, 5 stars preferably. And yeah, we appreciate it.
Bam.
All right. Enough of this ranting session.
All right.
We're done.
We're done. Peace.
Thanks for watching the show. If you enjoyed that episode, make sure you like it, share it, and hit the subscribe button to get a new episode every week. We'll see you next time on the Connectable Podcast.